Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at 5 more units with all the talents. Charlga Razorflank, talent number 1, Cavernous Mists, deploy cost reduced by 1 gold. Unfortunately there's nothing to show, it's just Charlga costs now 1 gold instead of 2. Yeah, that adds 1 gold cost to your deck, so you could manipulate the gold costs and stuff like that. You know how Charlga works. If you don't know how gold costs in Charlga's decks work, you can watch my guide. You can find it in my channel. Next talent is Spirit Pasage. Minis played for 5 gold, gain a level and deploy in stealth. Alright, if you deploy the unit that costs 5 gold, it's going to have 1 more level. These were goblins level 27, now they're level 28, and they gain stealth ability. So what you need to know about this stealth is as soon as this gargoyle hits something, stealth goes away and the gargoyle will stay visible after that. Next talent is Nature's Grasp. Root 2 additional nearby targets, but deal half damage. Does exactly what it says. Instead of 1 target, it catches 2. Really good in PvP against Goblin Sappers. So what do we take? I would go number 1 is Cavernous Mists because it's useful anywhere in any situation. Number 2 is Spirit Passage because sometimes there are some old school combos with a stealth Goblin Sappers. When they're stealth, you split them, and you know the enemy has to spend a lot of gold to counter both. And third talent, Nature's Grasp. It's almost useless. You can find use for it, but again, as a third talent, it's a good option. Grommash Hellscream. First talent is Mirror Image. Summon 2 fragile mirror images when entering combat. Alright, here's what you need to know. Let's slowly go. So when your Grommash hits somebody, you see, you have to hit somebody, you spawn 2 illusions. These illusions have a little bit of HP, not even half as what Grommash has, but their attack power is exactly like Grommash's. So they hit pretty hard. Each illusion has a taunt. So if you hit this kobold and you spawn 2 illusions, the kobold will be aggroed by one of them and then by the other one. And only then it will start attacking you. Okay? Boom, boom, boom. Now, if some illusion survives, it stays with you. I believe it has a duration, but it's very long and it pretty much lasts until your Grommash dies. So right now we killed kobold and 1 illusion is alive. Watch what happens. We get closer to this boss and we have illusions. As soon as you hit the boss, as soon as you start a new combat, you hit the boss, watch, boom. It spawns new illusions while the previous illusion is still alive. So you can spawn a lot of illusions. It's really hard to survive for the illusion, but in theory you can spawn a huge army of these things, alright? Next talent is Savage Strikes. Deal double damage to enemies who are below 50% health. Look how much damage it does. Boom, boom. So I kind of showed you already what to use it with. You execute something and then you start dealing double damage to the target. Whether it's unit or structure or boss, anything. Next talent is Bladestorm. Gain an AoE blade spin ability that damages all nearby units. Let's watch it slowly. I'm gonna pause it. Boom. So right now he is gonna use his ability, but in order for this ability to be used, you have to be surrounded by at least 3 units. If there is only 2 units, you will never see this ability. Watch. That's the combo he does. If you're attacked by 3 or more units, you're gonna cast it once, 6.49 seconds later, you'll be able to attack it twice, one more time, and so on and so on, as long as you're surrounded by 3 or more units. So what do we take? Obviously, number one is going to be up mirror image, extra units for free every time you start combat. Hits like truck, tanks like crazy, and the best ability, like way better than the other two combined. Talent number two, I would go with Savage Strikes. In certain contexts, with some bosses in PvE especially, it's very useful. And number three, I would go with Bladestorm because, first of all, nobody has found any use for Bladestorm. Maybe we'll find it in the future, but today is January 2024. I haven't seen it used. There is no meta with this thing. So yeah, talent number three. But it looks good. It looks amazing. Meet Wagon. Talent number one. Increase range by +2. Now, it's really hard to see the difference. So, you see this little corner here? This level? So, this meat wagon is below. Here, this meat wagon is right there. So, that's the difference between ranges when you attack this tower. I know it doesn't it doesn't look equal, but that's the idea. So, you pretty much can stay further from the target when you're attacking it. So the reason why this talent is so good is I will actually tell you when we get to what to pick. Next talent, Meat and Bones. Every other attack summons a skeleton instead of dealing damage. So it does exactly what it says. Every second attack throws a skeleton instead of an attack. Talent number three, Greased Gears. Gain Fury. Alright, so the difference between having Fury and not having Fury is that every attack increases your attack speed by 25%, stacks up to 3 times. On the left side it's a Fury, on the right side it's nothing. So what do we take? Number one, I would go with increased range. The benefits that you get if you take this talent is that this Meat Wagon has the longest range in the game with this talent, and this is the only unit that can attack Onyxia without being attacked by Onyxia. So this is a key unit in a lot of decks when it comes to killing Onyxia, and you will need to kill Onyxia because she gives you extra unit. Also, you can attack bosses without being aggroed by bosses, but it's not the only unit that can do it. So, +2 range, this is your talent number one. Must have, don't even ask any questions, just buy it. The other two talents are useless, but I would go with Meat and Bones as a second talent because I've heard a little bit about raids, what the mechanics are going to be, and I think that Meat and Bones might be useful in the raids. So I would go with that, but doesn't really have much of a use in the current situation. And number three is Gain Fury, this Greased Gears. Well, you don't really need that, but you have to have talent number three, right? That's it. Holy Nova. First talent is Renew. Also adds a heal over time to allies. Now, what everybody wants to know, how much does it heal, right? It heals you for X amount, and then that dot heals you for the same amount over 5 seconds. So it's like double heal. Watch, boom. And now it keeps healing you for 5 seconds. It heals the exact same amount. X plus X over 5 seconds. Next talent is Amplify Magic. Effects are doubled on all elemental minis. It does exactly what it says. If your unit attacks with elemental damage, it will heal your unit for double amount. Next talent is Inner Fire. Affected allies gain armored and resist for 5 seconds. Look at the troll. We cast, boom. You see this? It has this little gray shield now. That means it's buffed, and for in 5 seconds it's gonna go away. So yeah, it does give you armored and resistant for 5 seconds. That is all you need to see. So what do we take? Number one, I would go with Renew, because it heals you for double the amount, no matter who you are, no matter what conditions you're in. You don't need to be Elemental Mini or something to get double amount of heal. Number two, I would go with Inner Fire, because it kind of makes you tanky for a short amount of time, which sometimes is exactly what you need in PvP. Number three, Amplify Magic. It's, again, it doesn't have a lot of use cases, so that's, I would take it as a third talent. Cheat Death. Talent number one is Apocalypse. Affected skeletons resurrect at your base when they die. Here's what you need to know about this talent. So we're gonna go like this. We're going to cheat death skeletons, and then they're gonna resurrect at the base when they die. Watch. As you can see, when they resurrect, they never go one way. They always split. If there's 3 different ways, they'll pick 2 and they will go in 2 different ways. So the reason why Blizzard did that is because it wasn't always like that, right? So Blizzard nerfed it. Is because if they always go as the same pile, like if they all follow the same direction all the time when they resurrect, you will be able to buff them, stack them on top of each other, and just keep resurrecting them together every time. So eventually it becomes like an avalanche that you can't kill. So that doesn't happen. Blizzard did that. Now they always go different directions, and you will always lose few skeletons every time they resurrect. Next talent is Seal Fate. Affected minis gain Bloodlust but die when the effect ends. A lot of people think it's a great and useful talent. Watch this. So we cast Cheat Death. Boom. Okay, Bloodlust. Yeah, that's it. Next talent is Vampirism. Affected minis are healed when dealing damage. Here is what we have. Certain units, like Huntress, they benefit a lot from this talent. Obviously, tanks, they're not gonna get significant amount of HP. But the ones who have high attack power, and more importantly, the ones who attack with multiple targets with their attacks. For example, the Huntress's Chakram, it jumps from one target to the other, and every time it jumps, it gives you health back. Same thing will apply to Pyromancers, Stalnus, all the mages and stuff like that. So what do we take? Number one, we take Vampirism. This is the best talent, the most useful talent. And people who use Cheat Death, they use Vampirism. Number two, I would go with Seal Fate. It's not really a useful talent, but it's better than this garbage. So if you build some super pooper one-way death ball, where if you don't make it, you lose the game, this talent might be useful. But again, the Vampirism is much better. So Vampirism, Seal Fate number 2. And Apocalypse is number 3, like I said, because it's nerfed. Now you can't stack skeletons. That's all.